Time for another unpacking. This one's from Rob Potchak, but I am going to talk a little wrestling beforehand because he's got his own YouTube wrestling review show that he does with a friend, and this is kind of wrestling related today. You can go on keenspot.com. He's had his hand in comics like Scorn, Junior High Horrors, The Mandalorian, Return of the Junior High Horrors, Return of the Walking Flu Vaccine Edition, Junior High Horrors Strangest Things, Junior High Horrors April Fool's Special, and there's so many Junior High Horrors things I still have yet to get. Most of them, but I'm gradually picking them up. He's got the Ex-Liefelds, Dead Sonja, Immortal, Volume 1. Yeah, lots of wonderful things through Keenspot Entertainment that he's touched, put his hands in, did some either collaborations, art covers, or whatever. Check it out. You can find a lot of his stuff. I did a fallback. We picked up Peacock. Oh, we got the upgraded Peacock TV so we could watch a couple movies that came out. And they got all kinds of old wrestling on there. And I've been doing a fallback to the beginning of WCCW, World Class Championship Wrestling, which has interesting things happening in the early stages, like the disqualifications. You'll see a scissors submission sometimes. Just do a scissors on the guy and hold him down and submit. Double disqualifications. Back in those days, it was illegal to throw people over the rope and stuff. We get to see Kabuki in his early days with the green mist, which I don't know how that worked where it didn't affect any of the wrestlers. Kabuki in the WrestleMania this year for the Hall of Fame induction got put in, which is awesome. Definitely deserves to be there. He's been through a lot of factions throughout the ages. But in the early WCCW days, he'd spray the green mist on both of his arms, and he'd get it on his forearms and stuff, and you would think that would irritate the eyes of the wrestlers when they're getting in the holds. But apparently I don't know. I'm curious what he used, if it was just green dye number 2 or whatever they call it, and some water, or what he was using, but he had to have some type of capsules so they could break at a certain time. But main thing I always loved about it was the Von Erichs. They kind of ran the WCCW in the early days before their dad kind of pulled back and sold parts of the company and kind of started to step away from things. But that was after some tragedies that with David Von Erich and some of the other Von Erichs over the years. We lost pretty much all of them except for Kevin. But Kevin and Kerry were the key wrestlers back in the WCCW days. For the Von Erichs, and David was big mainliner, and he did a lot of color commentary, voice works. Chris Von Erich, he did his thing protecting the kids, coming in and setting up the themes and stuff for the whole events and everything. And it was fun. King Kong Bundy back in the day was Big Daddy Bundy. Fun seeing all these wrestlers before they got their main name or advanced their careers to a point where they were so recognizable they couldn't change things around anymore. But I was surprised to find out that King Kong Bundy was trained by the Von Erichs. I know the Von Erichs had their own school, like the Harts, Stu Hart and them. Heart Foundation up in Calgary. But yeah, there's a few wrestlers I found out about that were trained through the Von Erichs that I didn't know about. I knew back then because I watched all this stuff, and my dad was hardcore into wrestling in the early days. WCCW, AWA, any type of Texas wrestling or anything we could get our hands on, we would watch. He would take it too seriously and yell at the TV constantly. But the nice part about it was he took me to events, and we constantly had events in Milwaukee, Green Bay area in Wisconsin. So it was nice. I got to go to a lot of events, got to go to pre-show signings and stuff like that, which I don't have any of my stuff anymore. I have no idea what happened to it. Everything I left in my childhood home when I moved and went off to school and all that stuff, I came back. I found 2 boxes so far with a couple things in it, but none of my autograph books, none of my signed pictures and stuff like that. It's all disappeared. I'd love to have found it, but who knows? That's what happens when you got nephews that go through your stuff. Stuff will disappear uh, if you're not around. They had Tom Boogaloo Shaft. He's from Milwaukee. He was a mainliner for the shows there. Kim Duck, which is also known as Mr. Saito, in the later days. King Kong Bundy versus, what's his name? Chris. I can't think of his last name now. But, yeah, Chris. Clean cut heel. But, yeah, he wrestled quite a bit and then ended up doing a lot with the Von Erichs and stuff. Ric Flair's early days, Harley Race, the Great Kabuki, the Magic Dragon, which is a goofball. Or actually, the goofballs were Bugsy McGraw. Just this guy is he's like a what is it, a red green show? He's like that kind of character. Just a goofy hillbilly running around doing all kinds of weird things like butt bumps and stuff like that. The Samoan was first represented in early WCCW, and then the Samoans came in, and you basically got The Rock's uncle and dad and all them, basically where they started out. Actually, they started out before that. They had their own wrestling organization. Came into WCW. Freebirds came in with Michael Hayes in the early 6-man match. You had Michael Hayes, Terry Gordy, and David Von Erich joined up with them. Wrestle for the titles. I forgot who they wrestled, but David Von Erich won the match. Gives the title to the Von Erichs and says, "Here, get your other part," or to the Freebirds, and tells them that he'll step down, let your other Freebird come in and take the titles. So Von Erich won the titles and then gave it to the Freebirds. Then the feud started shortly after between the Freebirds and the Von Erichs. Yeah. But it's interesting seeing they had double refs a lot of times in the early matches. Uh, Killer Tim Brooks. I think that might be Earthquake in the later stages of like WCW. But I'm not positive. Just kind of looked like him. They had a Star Wars event. That's where David Von Erich teamed up with the Freebirds, and then Michael Hayes and Terry Gordy were given all 3 belts, and David stepped away, and then all that stuff happened. Flair fought Kerry Von Erich quite a bit in those early days to get them set up, pushed up into the promotions. They were basically the main eventers. And there was the match with Ric Flair versus Kerry Von Erich with Michael Hayes as a second referee in the cage match. And Terry Gordy was outside as an enforcer. And, of course, Michael Hayes kept hitting the guys and getting in between them and during the match and all that stuff. And just lots of goofiness through that. And that basically kind of what set off some more of the feud with them. And also in that Star Wars WCCW Star Wars event, we had Kabuki versus Chris Von Erich in a no DQ match. You had Harley Race versus Kerry Von Erich. Kevin and David Von Erich versus Hercules, Ayama, and Mustafa. It's funny seeing back in those days, at the beginning of every match, the fans would just storm in and surround the cage or the ring, climb up on the ropes and stuff, getting signatures. All the wrestlers were getting ready for the match. It's amazing nobody got hurt. Uh, there was a battle royal that had Wahoo McDaniels, Bruiser Brody, and stuff in it. There's a brass knuckle championship with Ernie Ladd and Jose Lothario. They had 2 rings side by side, 2 wrestlers in each ring tag into either ring. That was an interesting match. And they had Kevin, Kerry, David, Mike Von Erichs versus Wild Bill Irwin, Chauncey, Captain Frank Dusek, and Tengu. But yeah, those were fun. Interesting little matches from WCCW. If you ever get a chance, go on Peacock. They got, I think it's like 7 seasons, 40 some episodes per season or so. It's just, plus they have the special events like the Star Wars separately and stuff. Then we touched a little bit into AWA, which got us into early Scott Hall, Shawn Michaels, the Midnight Express, the Midnight Rockers fighting it out between each other, which the Midnight Rockers was Michaels and Jannetty. Paulie Dangerously, he was manager for the Midnight Express back in those days. Had the Nasty Boys, Boris Zukov with Sheik Adnan, Al Casey, Aaron Von Raschke, The Claw, which I mentioned on the WrestleMania review back in the day when Dad took me to the signings and stuff. I got to meet Baron Von Raschke, The Claw, a couple times. And he sat there and put his hand over my head, just monster hand. I was also a little kid, so it covered my whole face and head. Yeah, Adrian Adonis, Greg Gagne, Wahoo McDaniels, Kurt Hennig, just all kinds of fun people from back in the day that just bringing back memories, rewatching all that stuff and checking it out. But the reason I brought up all the wrestling stuff, because Rob being into wrestling, I figured I'd start out the show with that, but I also wanted to mention I just picked up Codename Ric Flair, #1. I think it's just the one shot, but this, I hope, goes on further. It's basically Ric Flair goes through some stuff, gets modified by our government after an accident, and get some special abilities, and with his wrestling days being able to travel all around the world, he gets to work as a spy for the United States. And this one takes him into Russia where he has to check out something about a drug trade. And it was wonderful. I mean, it's just very well done. Artwork's great. Fun story. I hope that they do more of these. I hope this goes on a little further. Oh man, something stuck to the back of my comic. Alright. But yeah, check out that. And I don't know if they're working a Four Horsemen angle or what's going on, but I noticed in this newest catalog that we got an Arn Anderson trade back paperback that I'm interested in. I'll have to check out. But it's I don't know if they'll do anything with the other characters. The other two characters weren't really that exciting. Okay, this doesn't want to come apart. Time to get evil with it. Definitely. Alright. Alright, more tape. I know. This stuff earlier. Itch going through my nose. Come on. You did myself. Almost got it. Yeah, I should probably show my address on here. If you see my address, send me something, go for it. Just don't send me anthrax or something like that. Send me something, I'll gladly open it, review it, talk about it. Alright, picked up a couple comics from Rob. I don't have no original artwork by him yet. So Troy Dungara posted that he had some special lucky covers with the silver signatures on it. And he was sending them to Potsy to get signed. So I figured I'd check out how much they were and see about getting one for near Tim Seeley's Lucky Comic, which we reviewed on the Crimson Color Comic Club. Wonderful comic. Looking forward to this run. Going on for a while. Definitely like the character. I got to go back on the character's back history with the, can't remember the gang that she hung with back in the day, but it was into it. And there's, you can see the special silver signatures. But yeah, not big on signature stuff because it's not like I'm doing anything with it, not getting rid of it. But I just figured this is something special. I'd check it out. Retailer incentive variant cover. So I figured since I'm getting that, I can't just have that come. I gotta see about something else. So I asked Rob about getting a couple art covers done from him. And I figure, why not make it wrestling related? And so I got Mankind, your Sacco. Have a nice day. It's an awesome little sketch cover on a Berserker cover. And then on a Junior High Horrors cover, I got The Undertaker. Figure why not get those two characters together from the same artist. And that'll go awesome with my little Mankind lunchbox and Mr. Sacco, all that stuff. Yeah. So check out Keen Spot Entertainment. Look up Rob Potchak. I will have all the information in the show notes. But yeah, it's a nice collaboration of comics that he's worked on, done stuff with. More coming out in the future. I hope to see some wrestling stuff in the future by him. We'll see what happens. And I will definitely keep following his work, seeing where it goes. But yeah, that was a little wrestling and unpacking with a review show. Just a little something different to give us a little extra, because otherwise it would have been probably like a 3-minute unpacking. We're making it a little bit more interesting, make it wrestling related. So, but yeah, I'll have all the stuff in the show notes. Check out Rob Potchak, Keen Spot Entertainment, all the wonderful things they have. They got lots of great creators items in there. And check out Peacock Entertainment for, I think it's Peacock Plus maybe, or something like that we had to get to watch certain things on there. But yeah, they got a ton of old wrestling and new wrestling, all the ECW pay-per-views, all that we're watching for background noise and stuff when we're doing stuff. But yeah, check it out. We'll get back together with more things soon. Keep following Under the Color of MS. We'll talk to you again later. Bye.